Hi guys, welcome to another Journey to Destiny Boys and Girls Championship 2024. People, it is live. We are on. The championship has started and today is day one. All right, so we're just gonna do a roundup, of the happenings for today. We're not gonna go in 100% details, but I know Wade is ready with his stats to give us, right, guys? So I just want to welcome my friend Wade. Big up yourself, Wade Weathers.
Hey, Sunset, how are you?
I am good. I am good. I am excited. I mean, today was hot. You would not believe some of the races that we saw today were actually prelims.
When you say hot in a sunset at one of the two times I see at the stadium, I fan a little bit. I was thinking you were saying the heat was hot, but
The
everything was
races
hot
were
today.
hot.
The heat was
Yeah,
hot, the track was hot. It was a good look today. It was
it
definitely
was.
a good look today.
It was. And I mean, again, when I really pay attention to the athletes and, you know, them being out there doing their thing, I have to say kudos to the athletes. And
The
we can't
coaches.
leave the coaches, the masseurs, the physiotherapists, the principals, the administrators. Kudos because it's a lot of work. It's a lot.
And Sunset, so like you, I wasn't in the stadium today. I was tuned into my television where I got everything that I needed from today. But what I realized too is that we had some very loyal and patrons in the stands as well. I could see a fair number of persons in the
Yeah.
grandstand. And they were in the champ spirit. Quite a few persons that you would have seen are wearing their colors. I saw a lot of purple. I saw a few greens. I saw a few true blues. So therefore, we also have to say thank you to the fans as well because they
Yes.
are there, whether they are parents, whether they are teachers, whether they are community leaders, church members, they are still there participating by cheering on our athletes. When they look in the stands, they can know that someone is there. They can hear a few persons saying, "Come
Yes.
on," and support. So definitely have to big up the patrons as well. Tomorrow, I shall join the patrons in the audience in my regular, which is over section E as usual. So I will be a part of the crowd tomorrow cheering on the athletes.
Definitely. I mean, like I said, today was very hot, and not just temperature wise, as in the sun, but the competition. The athletes came and you could see that they were ready. They were very, very ready.
And you know,
It's
that's
like,
so, and you know, Sunset, to cement that up, the first event on the track this morning was the 1500 meters. And that had so much excitement in it. So I have to agree with you, Sunset. They came out ready, ready, ready. I saw from the 1500 meters some very good races, some impressive performance. But I'm not going to jump the gun because I know you have the outline as to what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to hold it a little bit until we get there.
all right. So, of course, you start out with the 1500. So, let's talk about it. Wade, of course, you were very fortunate to be able to watch what was going on. That's the thing with being a photographer. We don't get a chance to really watch the races. We don't get a chance to cheer our favorite side, whichever color it is that we support. We don't get a chance to do it. We have to be neutral. But you got a chance to do it today. And that's why I always appreciate the fact that, you come on every opportunity you get to really talk and to inform the people and to let them know what's going on. But before you start, Wade, I just want to welcome everyone that's here. I want you guys to thank you so much for joining. Of course, we
Look at the
appreciate you.
time. Look at the time. Sunset.
Yes, of course, we really, really do appreciate you, but we could not go tonight without at least sharing some of the excitement from the happenings today. So thank you guys so much for joining. And even if you're not going to be live, we know that you're going to watch the video afterwards. We're not going to be long. We want you to share, like, of course, comment, guys, because we want the platform to grow. We do need your support. We can't do it without you. Just as you're our fans in the stands cheering us on while we do this 1500. All right, guys. So we do need your support. So remember to subscribe, remember to share, remember to watch the video, remember to like it, and to just tell everybody about it, and tell us what it is that we're doing or what we can do better. And if there's something that you want us to talk about, let me know.
Yeah, drop it in
Go,
the comment section.
yeah, go follow me on Instagram, send me a DM or something, Sandy_lifestyle. We're on TikTok, people. We're trying all the platforms. All right, Wade, 1500. Tell me about it.
The 1500 meters started this morning with a bang. It really does say that we are heading in the right direction as it relates to the middle and the longer distance. We know what I realized, Sanjay, and it was very interesting to me too, is that ISA has adopted the international standard, which is for events greater than 800 meters. They are going to be running, and the top six is what will go through from each heat, or based on the number of heats that they'll have to determine the 12 who will make it through to the finals. Not a bad move because that lessens the level of work on the legs, because most times you do have persons running the 8:15 double. And so that's a very interesting move that I noted there. So kudos to calling that out on Issa's part as we prepare our athletes, not just for this local scene, but also on the international scene. For the 800 meters, if we are going to go by classes, I would say class one was very, very, very interesting and extremely comfortable. Ashara Freighter of Vertec, and I know a lot of people might not know this, but Vertec is actually my alma mater. She went out from start and held it right throughout the entire race, leading from start to finish, doing very well. The record in class one is 4 minutes 32.10 by a former Vera girl, Yvette Turner. She actually did 4:42.60, which is very close to the record. And she did that by herself out there in the field, knowing that she had to bring it by herself. She looks comfortable doing it. And I think, though, when we get to the final, we will see Rose of Homewood, Coombs of St. Jago, as well as the the Edwin Allen girls, and the Idel girls stepping up to the plate to really challenge her. But so far this morning, Sunset, a very, 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 very impressive run from her at class one. For class two, it was also interesting as well, because what we saw at class two was that the girls went out there and they also just put their foot down and did what was needed to be done. Right there, we had coming out on top. Just a second while I check my notes here. I'm so excited. Sounds like my notes is all over the place. But for that one, the Edwin Allen High girls, they really did step up. We had Fowler looking very much impressive. For that one, we saw some challenge coming from those non-traditional schools that we would have spoken about, Sanzet. I think when it comes to the 15 and 800 meters, Alphonsus Davis is going to really shake the pot a bit. They have some very good runners there. They are placing themselves ready to strike when it gets to the last lap, the last 100, the last 200 meters, and they are doing very well. So, therefore, in class two, the girls will definitely have some competition there coming from the young ladies from Alphonsus Davis. Class 3 seems like it is also going to be interesting because what we have there are some fresh girls as well running and doing very well. So for me, Sunset, the 1500 meters is one to look out for. We know the seeded names that we have there right across the board. Stewart from Edwin Allen looked very well. We had Johnson from Hydel. But Sunset, for me, it is very interesting to see those non-traditional champ school that we would have
Yes.
known of coming through. And that says a lot on the girls' side. I saw today where this year became the 25th anniversary of girls champs being merged with boys
Merge.
champs.
Yes.
And so this is a momentous occasion for girls champs, even though it has been around for such a long time. I think for the 25th anniversary of the merger, it will feel even more special as the girls go out there and perform alongside their male counterparts as well as stamp their class there. So for the 1500 on the female side, Sanzet, so far so good. No surprise there either. Went to the form books. All the main principles are there based on what I've seen so far for the season. For the men, for the boys, I was very impressed with Nook of Jamaica College. When the race started, he for the first 400 meters, he was about in 10th position. And I remember hearing one of the analysts from the network that I'm watching the champs on saying that he looked very comfortable in his skin, being the leader, the event leader going in. And slowly he took down that field sunset that with a lap to go, he was leading by about 10 meters. That says a lot there as it relates to confidence.
Yeah.
I know he will get some competition as we get to the finals. However, he looked supreme, comfortable, and looked like he was ready to run. Notable call outs to Nathaniel Thomas of Denby High School looked very good. Luke Plummer from Sidney Pagan High School also looked very good as well. So therefore, I know that when we get to that 1500-meter finals, we will definitely see some fireworks. For class one, what we saw was a little upset there. The seeded persons going in, which would have been Ruther from Kingston College, he would have lost to Brown of Calabar. We saw James from Clarendon College coming through. We saw Brown of Stetts as well. But everything went to the form book in terms of the 12 that is actually going into that final. And I think they will have a wonderful race. That record there is one very interesting record that a lot of persons are looking at, that 355 from Kefroy Benson. We would have seen him transition, and he's now at the collegiate circuit looking very well too. But that 355 looks like it can be under threat when these 12 guys line up for the finals of the 1500-meter tomorrow afternoon, Sunset. Overall, for the 1500 meters, right across the board, both male and female, it looked good. It looked good. It looked dangerous. It looked like everybody showed up and they are ready to run. And who knows, we might see a top three looking not what we are used to in terms of champs, but looking like other schools right across the island is stepping up and making their marks on champs.
Well, and it's a good look and a good feeling, because normally for championship the exciting events are like the 100, the 200, the 400 lately. But to have
And the
all the
relays,
excitement in the distance event, it gives us a new feeling, a brand new feeling, you know having to people, because normally people don't want to sit down and watch the distance, but
anything going around the track more than once.
yeah, now
But
people are actually watching them.
Sunset, I think we have had a very good distance runner over the years. It's just that transition. And part of the reason why we had some difficulties with the transition would have been based on our training facilities, the training ability, but also competition. Because at the local level here, there was not that much pedigree as it relates to the competition. And even though a lot of people had a lot to say about this, I too, when initially it happened, I had a lot of concerns. what we find is that the introduction of the Africans coming here, the introduction of other persons from the Caribbean. Remember, we spoke on the last podcast that the Caribbean schools are coming and they are performing very well. The introduction of those non-Jamaicans coming to participate in our boys and girls championships, it has strengthened what we now know as the 800, 1500 meter distance. I was watching the steeplechase and I was in awe when I realized that they had so much young men who were out there, that they had to do two heats of the steeplechase. Years gone by, that was an event where you only found five, six schools sending two representatives to run. Now, when you have to run two heats, and I think they had up to 15 persons per heat, it tells you that our distance program is going very well. And that transition, Sunset, is showing on the international circuit as well. When we look at the NCAs, Sunset, say, I say I'm learning.
Yeah.
When we look at the NCAs, we are seeing where the Jamaican guys are definitely transitioning. We just won the Southeastern Championship at 800 meters. We have some very good guys running some very fast times. I was in a discussion this morning with a good friend of mine who pointed out that Jamaica's middle distance is the best it has ever been based on what the numbers are. So therefore, shout out to all the coaches who are not
Yes.
just pushing points for champs, but they're developing runners. They are keeping themselves calm.
Yes.
They know when to hit it. They are going through the phases and they are doing well. So shout out to the coaching team, to the athletes, and it's a real good look for the middle distance.
Yeah, indeed, Wade. And like you said, we have to give props to the coaches because without the coaches, there are no athletes really, you know. We also saw the 400. I got to the stadium a little bit after, well, a little bit before the class one 400 boys, I think. The
Well,
400 boys.
Sunset, I got to my TV before the 400 start. No
I know you
shade
did.
there.
I know
No
you
shade
did.
there, but I got to my TV before the 400 start. Um, the 400 is looking very
Pretty
good.
exciting.
It is looking very, very,
It
very,
has a
very.
world championship 400 feeling.
It has an international championship 400 feeling. Um, Again, here, Sunset, what I saw were the non-traditional high schools coming through again.
Yeah.
We know Edwin Allen is there. We know Heidel is there. We know Wolmers is there. So therefore, no surprise there. But what we saw, Sunset, is that we had some schools. When I looked and I saw William Nip coming through Clarendon College, had two very impressive young ladies running Lacovia High, Magati High, I at Ferncourt High, having persons coming through. It said to me that this championships is going to be very interesting. As it relates to the 400, we did not see the class one girls. I don't think that they had the numbers for class one
Mhm.
girls to have shown
Yeah.
us. But we know when it comes to the class one girl, the girl there to beat will be Abigail Campbell of Hydel. Um, we saw the class two girls, and I'm gonna tell you, Sanzet, that class two is going to be pretty interesting. Last time we met, you spoke about the young lady from Magati High, Shanoya
Douglas.
Douglas.
Yeah.
She looked so impressive this
She
morning.
walked in that 400.
She
Yes.
looked so
Literally walked.
impressive this morning. Now, Fletcher of Heidel is a young lady that runs a very good 400.
Mm-hmm.
It
That's
will
true.
not be easy to beat her, but I am telling you, when I saw Douglas this morning, I'm like, okay, then Fletcher is going to have a race on her hand. Jodie and Daly of Heidel, I think
Yes.
she's the defending champion. Um, I think that this young lady is one that is going to be very special. And as we go along, I will also say that she might shake up a few things as we go along in another event that she might be challenging at the championships.
Yeah.
However, at class two, all the main principles are there. The times are looking wonderful. Everyone was comfortable around 44, 43 is thereabout for the championships. Therefore, so far, so good. When we get to the semifinals, I think we are going to see some cracker. But what I can tell you, Sanzet, is that based on how the field is looking and where persons are coming from, we can expect that some schools will now start to drop points as they head into the LIFA championships because the more seeded runners, the more seeded times are really coming from some places that we don't usually see them coming from.
Yeah, that's true.
However, it is very good to see the growth and the development as it relates to the event. So for me, I'm looking out there to see what Douglas has in store tomorrow. I'm looking out to see Abrina Wright from Homewood. She looked very
Yes.
good as well. Casanova from Edwin Allen looked very well. Shout out to Sterling from Wolmer's. We have a long history going back to her father being my pastor several years ago. She didn't have the best of days today, but she did make it through to the semifinals, and I know she really did well last year. So I'm looking forward to see what she has in store and how well she will go through from the semifinals into. But what I can tell you, Sanzet, is that it will not be an easy task in the girls' class to 400 meters because they will have some running to do there for them to make it to that finals. As
Yeah.
it relates to the girls at class three, for the 400 meters, again, we saw everybody showing up and doing what they ought to do. It is going to be a pretty interesting race. Most of the girls there was between 46, 47, and 48. That record there, a stellar 52-52 by Anisha McLaughlin, is going to be very interesting to get to. But what we will see are some wonderful young ladies challenging it out, trying to make it to the final so that they can actually put some points on the board for their schools. Definitely have to give some shout out to the Clarendon College athletes there. They looked very impressive both
Yes.
winning. They looked very impressive there, winning their heats. I also saw some very good running coming from Immaculate Kimberly Wright. She started off very well. She faded a bit down the home stretch, but she held it and she looked very good. But Sashana Johnson of Hydel, she made it look pretty easy. So therefore, for me, I think she will be definitely the one in that event to try to take down as she aimed to get to the finals. But that should be very, very, very interesting. Equally mouth-watering, Sunset, are the boys.
Mm-hmm.
The 400-meter boys looked very impressive right across the board from class one all the way down to class three. When we got to class one, as expected, Marcinio Rose and Glasgow from Kingston College, they are the two that is looking to put those Quinella on the board to take that 16 points to KC. They were way out and ahead of the field, doing very good. Last year, silver medalist Omarion Barrett from JC looked very well. Looked like he is going to put up a fight and put up a challenge to the two Kingston College young men there. Uh, I was impressed when I saw Daniel Francis from Alphonsus Davis. He came through and won one of the heat there. Here and Wint, I think, were in the same race. I'm not sure. I'll have to double check, but I think they both were in the same race. And they looked very impressive there. It will be a lot of running in that 400 meters for class one. So therefore, I'm looking to see how it will progress, but I think it will be a hard battle to take down the two young men from Kingston College in that one. However, when you get to class two, I was more than impressed, Sanzet, with how Nikai Bramwell did it.
Yes.
He sat very relaxed for the first 200 meters. Then he decided to just let it out, coming around the curve, doing very well. And by the time he was at 350, he shut it off again, looking to the right, looking to the left, and just slowly made his way. Very comfortable, very well tailored race. I was interesting to see how Fleming from Manchester High, he has been one that I have been watching for from his class for
Yes.
years. He looked very well. I'm happy to see that he's running like himself again. Last season, it was not his best showing, but I was happy to see how he was coming through. I think there from Manchester High will pose some shaking there as well. Smith from KC looked pretty impressive as well. I think for this one, the two Excelsior boys too will create some challenge there. But for me, Bromwell looks as though he would have learned from last year. He would have matured from last year. He placed third in the event last year. He looks as though he is ready to stand on top of the podium in this one. And so I'm looking to forward to see how it will turn out. In class three, it was good in class three as well. The St. Jacob man came out looking pretty well. I was impressed to see some schools that you don't typically see, the non-traditional schools. What I realized though, Sunset, is that the lower class is where you're seeing the non-traditional schools being very predominant. So for class three, we saw Dembe High coming through, we saw Tatius Golden coming through, we saw some very good performance coming from the Jamaica College guys. KC stood their ground, we saw Clarendon College. It looks real good. It
Yes.
definitely looks real good. I think the 400-meter will give us a lot to look forward to and to celebrate when we get to the finals.
That is true. The thing about it is we can't even show any of the races, guys, because TVJ has
Broadcasting
rights
rights. Mhm.
to the championship. So we can't show any videos, we can't show any races. We would love to show a couple clips from today's, championship day one, but we're not allowed. So don't feel bad that we're just talking and you're probably just trying to visualize what we're saying. You would actually love to see the action, but we're not able to. Hopefully, somebody from TVJ would watch this and probably give me the opportunity as a favor, to maybe show it on day two. I don't know. But TVJ, Television Jamaica, if anyone is watching, I would really love the opportunity. But for now, we're not able to. Thank you so much for joining, Kermit. We know it's past your bedtime. I think you guys are an hour ahead from all the way in Nassau, Bahamas, joining us tonight. So thank you so much for watching. Remember to share the link with all your friends, your Bahamian friends, and your friends from all over the world. So thank you so much for joining my faithful friend Kermit. Awesome photographer, guys. Bahamas Athletics. Um, Wade, we got a mouthful of the 200.
The
We got a mouthful
100.
of the 400. I'm sorry, and the 1500. We we don't really have. I mean, we didn't really see much of the, when you're watching, you didn't really see much of the field events, you
Yes.
know
Yeah, we
but
didn't get much field events coverage. We didn't see a lot of field events coverage, but looking online at what is happening, we can see that the field is buzzing as well. We had some jumps taking place today in the field. We had the javelin throw taking place as well in the field today. Today is all about qualification to move to the next rounds. So therefore, we saw some qualification happening on the girls' side in the javelin. When I looked at it, Sunset, at the time when I looked at it, I saw two young ladies meeting the qualifying standard, but everybody else was closely around what the qualification standard would have been, maybe a 3, 4 centimeters down to get to the finals. But I think the two persons who would have met the qualifying mark are the two standout of the season. No doubt we will see some excitement there as well. Cheering on the field over the last few years, I see where Jamaica has grown consistently within the field. We spoke the last time that the javelin is one of the areas that definitely needs some work, some resources, as well as some investment. So therefore, I like what I saw in terms of the times versus what the meet record was and so forth. So definitely we will see when we get to the final. I know at the time that the javelin was happening, we had some terrible breeze in the stadium too. That could also be a factor. I think around the time of the finals, it will be later in the afternoon, which should be a little better with the breeze and the wind speed and how the javelin is impacted. For the jumps taking place, I saw a few of the jumps. Personally speaking, I went out and kind of looked for a few people that I was really looking for. But the times that I saw there looked impressive as well. Um, what we spoke about last week as it relates to the enthusiasm that has now gone into the jumps with the long jumpers that we have, the triple jumpers that we have on the global stage, it's definitely showing. Again, when you look at the number of athletes that are registered for the event from the preliminary trying to make it to the finals, you'll find that there is quite a huge sum of athletes. And that spells good for the sport. That spells good for the development of the event. That spells good that the Jamaican athletes are looking beyond the 100 and the 200 at other areas where there is an opening for Jamaican that not only represent but to also make their presence felt. And so it was really a good feeling to look in the field to see these two events moving in a direction that will say very well. And I congratulate the athletes and I will look forward to see them. I'll be in the stadium tomorrow so I can see for myself rather than wait on the networks to be showing us over here, showing over there, showing. So we'll see what's happening tomorrow. But big up to the athletes nonetheless.
Yes, definitely, Wade. I mean, we saw the 100 meters prelim, and then we're gonna go to the 400 meter hurdles. But the 100, we saw some really fast time with some stroll in the park.
Sunset,
I don't even walk that fast.
Sunset, let me tell you something. I don't know if you're talking about anybody in particular when you say that, but
Well, well, well.
I saw one
T
person
multiply by T, or
really
T
walking
times
in the
T.
park. Some three T's who just walking in the park, walking from the start line to the finishing line and looking real good doing it. Um, I was happy today to see the sprints. I think it's the first time in a long while at class one I'm seeing heats run. Over the years, when we get to class one, I'm always used to seeing the class one girls just moving directly to the semifinals and finals. Today, there were 5 rounds of class one girls who were in heats trying to make it to the semifinals. And so that was very much a minor shocker for me today, but it's in line with the trend that is happening with the sport, and that was good. If we are going to go sunset by the class one girls looked pretty interesting, very much interesting there. I think the overall feel was led by Taylor of Edwin Allen. Looking very easy, looking compact, and I will tell you, when I saw her running, she really reminded me of a certain five-time world champion at 100 meters. There is so much similarities to the two when I saw her run today. And so I will definitely watch out for her for the rest of the championships to see exactly what she will do. But at class one, a little disappointed with the times that I'm seeing at class one.
Yes.
The lower classes are representing very well. Greater competition is there at the lower classes, but the regular competitors are there. It will definitely be one that will go to a showdown. As I said before, it's been a minute since we would have seen several heats of the 100 meters at class one. So definitely, but looking out to Harris Upstate, the two young lady from Edwin Allen, they won two of the heats. That's Taylor and Armstrong. Alia Baker, one of those very versatile athletes running the 400, the 400-meter hurdles, the 100, the 200. Now she's down to the 100. You haven't seen much of her so far on the season this year, but she looked very comfortable. She looked very compact, and she looked very well as she went out today winning her heat as well. Akira Meikle of Homewood, Kiara Meikle rather of Homewood, look,
Yeah.
she was in a ding dong battle there, but came out looking very good as well. Michaela Gardner from Wolmer's looked very well. So therefore, we will see how things progress. It is looking good. That 1092 from Alana Reid, I think that is definitely out of reach for maybe another year and a little bit when a certain triple T gets to class one. We will see how that one work out there.
We
Um,
might just be surprised. Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. When we get to class two, we saw Tiana Lee Terry Long leading the way, looking very good, very very good. She came out, she walked 12:15, went around, and she looked very good at it. When we got to uh Brittany Campbell looking seasoned and looking very well as well from St. Jago. I was very impressed. I know she was one of those moving from the 400 meters like Alia Baker. I was impressed with her execution. Looked very good. Looked like she could get some running going there as well. I had some challenges as it relates to Sabrina Dockery, who would have been the number two uh, on the season so far for class two. Not sure exactly what happened there, but she was fast. She was charged with a false start, then she came back, but she came through at a later heat looking very good. Shim of Immaculate looked very good as well. Davidson from St. Jago, the hurdler,
And
looked
that's Brianna Campbell from St. Jago.
Brianna Campbell, yeah, my bad, from
That's
St.
right.
Jago. We had Davidson from St. Jago as well, looking very good. I think this one, the writing is on the wall as it relates to who will come out on top. But you know, the races are not run by predictions, they are rather run by showing up to the starter and execution.
Yes.
Class three. Class three has a special Naturisi there. She looked very well, leading out the charge in the first in the first heat there. Looking very good. She came out, she executed, and she did what was required to get her to the finishing line. Last week, Sunset, we were reminded of Karen Etienne, and she also came out in the
Yes, she did.
second
Yes, she did.
heat, and she looked super as well. Sunset at class three, I think we are in for a treat.
Sweet, yes.
K-pop Edwina Allen looked very well as well. Foster from Vera Technical High School looked well. Kayla Johnson, I think she
And
would have been
Adora from
ideal.
San Diego.
Mhm. Sunset, everybody who showed up today. There were some challenges for some of the athletes in terms of the wind. Some persons had some issues based on what was happening around them, but the main participants showed up and they got to the finishing line and looking like when we get to the semifinals tomorrow afternoon, as well as the finals, we are in for some cracker. I was a little taken aback though when I got to the 100 meters and I didn't see uh Wolf. I'm understanding that she transferred to Wolmer's and she is now out for the rest of the season. I was really looking forward to see how she would have progressed and what she would put down this year. But we wish her all the best and hope that she will recover well. For class four, Sunset, class four has this Rihanna Scott from Court. She came out and she meant business.
She was on fire.
Looked very well, full control of the race after some 10 meters. She was in full control and she just did her thing and got her thing done and she was out there. Looked very well. The Edwin Allen Pier looked as though they are going to give her some run too. She would have battled them at Central Championships where she came out victorious. So therefore, it's not new for her, but definitely, the Edwin Allen pair of Godfrey and McDonald look very well as well.
Yeah.
Patterson from Alphonsus Davis. You know, people was like, oh, Alphonsus Davis, aren't they all about the sprinter? Patterson from Alphonsus Davis cut the field and came through looking real good today. And I was very proud to see that happening. Harris, too, of Camperdown looked very well. There was a young lady from York Castle. I think her last name is James. She looked impressive to me. Her running form, how she transitioned, looked very well. Some cleaning up is required, but I think as she grow from class four and into the event, I think we will see where she will clean up and be definitely one that will challenge. But overall, Sunset on the girls' side, the 100-meter looks very much on fire. On the boys' side, Sunset, remember I had to message you today. There is Mario Ross in class three. When I was looking at him today, I'm like, okay, cool. He runs a little bit uncomfortable for me, but he was putting out some speed. That 10:99 there, which would have been a very fast time for a class three young man at this point in the season. Mark you, the record in class three is 10:69 by Christopher Scott, but he really made it look very good. Happy to see St. George's College putting forth some young,
Yes,
very
that's
fast young
true.
man looking very good. Um, this one is one that is going to be very interested. Boyd of St. Jago looked good as well. Um, it will definitely be a very interesting race in class three. We saw some big names there, we saw some little names there, and what we saw was real running, especially from the young men. So therefore, that one will definitely also be one to look out for. When we get to class two, Sunset, of the 100 meters, I know this one is definitely going to be a Excelsior and KC Ding Dong battle. Um, both young men looked very good. Wade looked very good today. Neron Wade looked very well as Nugent looked very well. But then you have to start putting some other players into the mix because Morgan of St. Jago looked very well too. Walker from Calabar looked pretty interesting too. We had how you pronounce the Smite from Magati
Yes,
from Moshet.
that tall guy.
When
Yes,
I
that
saw
very
his
tall
race,
athlete.
yeah, when
Yes,
I saw his race, and that I'm like, okay, cool. But I like one O'Shane Jervis of Green Island High School. He looks like he has a full package ready to run. A creeper. He came out of the block slowly made his way, came up to walk off Calabar High. He was not interested in passing him. He just wanted to ensure that he was in the top two to qualify. And that one was pretty interesting. But I think at the top of the pile, we will definitely see a ding dong battle between Wade of KC and Nugent of Excelsior High. And that record of 10.20, not too far out of both their season's best this season. So definitely we might see that record being challenged and a whole new record. Sachin Dennis did very well to run that record, but we might see that one go this year because the quality in class two is superb and wonderful. And then we get to class one. You know, every year class one is the big talk of the town. Very interesting today. I like Omarion Barrett.
yes,
Uh, looking smooth. He has had some challenges over the years at
yes,
champs. I think up to last year he had to run with the clock to get into the finals or the semifinals, but this year looks very much in running form. Looks very smooth doing it too. Uh, Daly from Herbert Morrison looked very well. He just took his time to come through the field, exerted as little energy as possible and was required. Looked very well doing it. Uh, Yuri from KC
you
looked very well too as he stepped out and came out to do what he did. Hector Benjamin looked very well as well. Um, the Calabar boys of Kimani Garden and Shaquin Garden,
yes,
they too looked very well. What we are now realizing, Sanzet, is that this year's class one, Miller of say of Excelsior looked very well too. What we are seeing is that this year's class one is not far off where our class one boys have been. So therefore, the noise around class one is definitely necessary this year because the based on what we would have seen in the heats, it is definitely looking as though we are going to see some shaking of the guards and some big names possibly even not making it to the finals because the quality there is very good
yes,
this year. Going into championships, I had Daly as the guy to beat. I'm still going to hold on to that prediction a little bit, but it will definitely be a very good race. No shocker if the result doesn't turn out how we would have planned it going into championships.
yes. I mean, you are perfectly on the ball because I mean the 100 meters, they were very exciting, and it's of course what we expect over the years with you
Class
know
one.
class one, and then we're seeing it coming over into class two, and then we see it coming over into the younger guys, so of course we expect to have some fantastic running going on, and we expect to see
Certainly, certainly.
some great times
As
coming
well
up.
as again some non-traditional schools making it to the
Yes,
finals and probably shaking
yes,
up and probably shaking up how
because we
the
spoke about Excelsior,
yes.
and I mean it's going to take us into our last point for the evening, the 400-meter hurdles. And we're going to start with the men or the boys because, of course, I pointed out Excelsior. I think Coach Riley and his team, they're doing a fantastic job down there. And it's not just the boys, you will see it for the girls as well. But the boys, they are doing well. They are showing up and they're not afraid to come to the line and say, look, KC, I am here to run, right? Calabar, Jamaica College, all the other traditional high schools that we see over the years dominating these events, they're not afraid to say, I am here to run. Herbert Morrison, the young guy in the, I think it was probably the second to last heat of the 400 hurdles, he
Which
showed up.
class? Which class?
Class one, I'm sorry, class one. They are doing their thing. And for that, I appreciate, and it gives us a little bit more to look forward to. Not
Sunset.
just the regular schools every year. I don't mind having
Sunset.
the competition.
I am just checking right now on the website, right, Sunset? And I want you to follow me here. The record by one Super Russian Clark at 49.50. The top man heading in, Daniel Wright from Excelsior, running 50.90, making it to the final. Antonio Forbes 51.37. Shamar Jennings 51.87. Sadine Smith 51.74. Hall of Excelsior 51.87. Smith of Herbert Morrison, that you would have mentioned, 52.09. Princewell Martin, Jamaica College, 51.98. And Romaine Campbell of Petersfield, 51.99. Sunset, 52.57, did not make it to the finals of the 400-meter hurdles.
That's
I
very
was watching this race, and when I saw semifinal one or heat one, I was like, okay, then these times are pretty interesting. And then I realized that third and fourth place were running 53. When the second one came, and Raquel Reed from Calabar and the pass of states of William Knibb came second and third, and they were running 52.7, 52.7. I'm like, okay, then this is pretty interesting. And then the third semifinals came up, and the guys for third and fourth were running 51. And I had to go and look what the record was, Sunset, because in the back of my mind, I'm like, hold on, what is happening here? I have never seen this at championships before. The 400-meter hurdles are going to be interesting both for class one as well as the class two boys, Sunset. Both looking extremely well, looking like they are there to cement themselves. And what I am seeing there for both classes is that, as you would have mentioned, Stets, Excelsior, my bad, is definitely going to shake up the 400-meter hurdles, both class two as well as class one. They
good.
look pretty good in both classes, look very comfortable and looking like they are ready to meet the starter and get it going. And that right there, Sunset, says a lot about where male sprinting is going, where the hurdles is going, the technical events. Internationally, right now, we are in a good standing with that. We have the Commonwealth champion, Dean Jahil Hyde. We would have seen the exploit of Rashawn Clark last year, breaking that world junior record, looking very good with the Jamaica national record, and just running very well. So, therefore, what we are seeing is the transition at the high level is also transitioning at the lower level. The guys
Yes.
are clean over the hurdles. You don't see a lot of hurdles dropping. You don't see a lot of hurdles being run into. And therefore, it tells you that the training is being put in, the work is being put in, and the execution is showing all of that. On the girls' side, Tony and Beckford and Natasha Fox look very well. Very, very, very well there. Alia Mullins of
Yes.
Heidel
Hi
looked
there.
very
We
well
can't
as
count her
well.
out. That's
She,
true.
she looked very good. I was happy to see Nastasia Fletcher. She is moving over to the hurdles, trying to close the gap there where Heidel, she's a very good 400-meter runner. She would have done the 400-meter prelims today and come back to make it into the
To do
hurdles
the hurdles.
final.
Yes.
I think the two Edwin Allen young ladies, though, will have a walk at the top of the podium for this one. Definitely looks like Aquinella going to Edwin Allen here between Tony and Beckford and Natasha Fox. Rhodes or Lewis looked very good. She looked very good. And so
Yes, she
did
came
Jared
through.
from Stets. Jared from Stets really did go out there, tried to close the gap and looked very well. But I think this one is looking very Frank Feelish. Very Frank Feelish, this one is looking. But again, I mean, a lot of room there. We did see some 1 minute and support in the hurdles time, even persons making it to the finals. What we know is that at this level, what we have are really 400-meter runners who are doubling up for points at
Mhm.
championship. And I think that's part of the reason why the Edwin Allen 2 stands out so much. They would have copped
Fresh
second
legs.
and second for Beckford, and I think fourth for Fox at last year's championship. And so going in, they would have been seasoned campaigners who would have understood the assignment very well. So I think this will be a good one for them. Overall, though, Sunset, I know we get into the close. Overall, the first day, no major upset. I think everybody who would have expected to be in going to the next round did show up, do what was required to get to the next round. So, no surprise. The injuries also, I didn't see much injuries.
Yes, that's
Uh,
good.
and that is very good. Today was extremely hot, so therefore, the mere fact that you saw persons come out looking very good, looking relaxed, making it to the finals, making it to the semifinals, putting on a good presentation of themselves, it really does send a very good signal to Championships 2024 as we get things underway. So far for day one, smooth sailing so far. Very good so far. The times are showing us that as we go into the rounds, we will definitely see the best of Jamaica and the Caribbean on show, looking very well and ready to represent their schools as Kingston College tried to retain and Edwin Allen High tries to reclaim.
Well, well, well. Indeed, indeed, indeed. But of course, I can't close without thanking everyone for joining. Cook with Mo, guys. Go follow her on YouTube. She just started her YouTube page. She's going to be cooking. So for all the single people that want to learn to cook, should in case you want to get married, go over. She's gonna start cooking. She's gonna show us how to cook, people.
Sounds as though
And
you feel like you're taking some classes, so.
oh,
More, drop in the comment section and tell with Sunset grade. This look like she taking some classes.
well, that's not a bad thing, you know. I'm just saying, because. But guys, I just want to drop this. I know it's out there already, so you won't be hearing it here for the first time. I know probably you would have seen it on my Facebook page. I don't know where it is going, and we're not finished yet, you know. But I just want to say, put it out there again. I know probably persons would have, seen it before. I'm not sure what happened to it. But our elite Jamaican sprinter Brianna Williams has moved back to the US. So she is no longer with Michael Frater, right? So she has gone back to the US to train with coach John Smith in his camp, and that is in Los Angeles. right? And we just want to wish Brianna all the best, because at the end of the day, people have to do what they have to do. We love her as a young athlete, and we just want to wish her all the best.
I
So,
mean, Sunset, she is moving to a very good camp. Coach Smith has produced some very good championship performers over the years, have helped some very good athletes to get to their peak and remain there as well. Um, the HSI team, which is Hudson Smith International, they are a very good camp there, and so she will be in safe hands as she prepares for the Olympic year. We know shortly after the Olympics we have a World Championships coming up as well. So therefore, it's a good move. She is used to the American system. California is not so bad in terms of the temperature. She would have gotten used to some of that being an American training in Florida before. So it's usual grounds for her. But as you said, we wish Brianna all the best. A very bright star shining out of Jamaica.
yes.
She's still the record holder at 200 meters here in Jamaica, the junior record holder at 22:52, that is. So definitely have to shout out to Brianna and wish her all the best as she join Coach Smith and his team over there in Los Angeles.
Yes, and she has Talu in her camp as well.
Yes,
So,
yes.
yeah, so we wish her all the best, and we know she'll do well, as we wish all our athletes all the best. Bahamas, guys. I know we're in champ season, but I have to put this out there because I got a little birdie tell me a little thing just now. But Tariff test coming up after this, and a little birdie just said, Wade, that Bahamas is sending one of their biggest team, 67 members. So you know them sending a threat, like how Edwin Allen sending a threat to Heidel. So you don't know. I just want to put it out there, guys.
We
But
are
again,
ready. We
of
are
course, we're
ready.
always ready. We were born ready. We're Jamaicans. That's
We
what we
are
do.
ready. We
We
are
run,
ready.
run,
And we
and we run
want to
again.
put it, and we want the competition as well, Santa, so we can break as much records as possible.
That is correct. That is correct. So
Santa, man, you the Bahamas people have come out for the channel, you know.
we love the Bahamians and they love us, I hope. Well, they do love us. But
Most
I
definitely.
just wanna I just wanna tell everyone thank you so much for joining. We know it's late. You came on, share, guys. Once the live ends, share, share, share. Don't stop sharing. Um, like the live, comment, tell us if you appreciate us being here and what we're sharing, if you are happy. And again, I want to thank everyone that have subscribed so far. We're still trying to get to 1,000 people, and I'm still trying to get to that talk time. So watch the video, watch all of it. Don't watch a little piece, watch all of it. Again, Wade, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate you being here. Thank you.
We'll have another session tomorrow, Sunset.
We're gonna do our best to have another session tomorrow because, of course, guys, I know you want
Let's
to be
hope I have
updated.
points tomorrow after those 100 meters, you know.
You will. If anything, you just whisper. Um, Remember to go check us out on Instagram. That's Sanzi_lifestyle. We're on Facebook, Sanzi Lifestyle Media. Guys, we're on TikTok. Yep, people. So get us to where we want to go. And again, I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much, guys, in the comment section. Thank you so much for joining. And good night. And we will see you in day 2 tomorrow. All right. So this was the end of day 1 roundup. Thank you, Wade. Have a good evening.
All right, you too, Sunset. Bye, everyone.
Bye.